Hey, 5th and 6th grade choir, Miss G here once again. I'm going to take you through the next 2 lessons and then I'll get to the others as quickly as I can as well. Today we're going to cover lesson 5 and then the review of lessons 1 through 5, okay? Lesson 5 is a continuation of your ledger lines, which we touched a little bit on in your last lesson. It says, more than one ledger line may be added to extend the lower and upper ranges of the grand staff. The next higher notes of the treble staff are G, A, B, and C, okay? So what they're saying, guys, is when you get higher than the F, which every good boy does fine, F would be the top line, you just keep going up the music alphabet. The next note after F in the alphabet is G. And then we have, remember, it starts over. It doesn't go G-H, it goes G-A, B, C, okay? When we add those 4 pitches, we have to know whether they're around a line or a space, but it's kind of an imaginary one because we only ever see the 5 lines and 4 spaces of the treble and the bass staff, even when they're a grand staff, like they are at the bottom, hooked together. You can see there's a ledger line here because in between the staff, you don't have any lines to help you know whether or not it's a line or space note. So this is a way to help differentiate between the notes, okay? So for treble clef, we have 4 notes we're learning today. G, remember, then A, B, C. For bass clef, the next lower notes of the bass staff are F, E, D, C. So we're going backwards in the alphabet because we're going down. If I was going from this note up, then it would be C, D, E, F. The next note would be G for good boys do fine always, or for the spaces, all cows eat grass, right? Or all cars eat gas. I like that one. All right, so you're just figuring out lines, ledger lines, or spaces between those ledger lines, and sometimes there's more than one depending on how high or low the note is. And the notes can keep going even higher than what's on this page, even lower than what's on this page, but this will help us get started with ledger lines. It says draw a treble clef and name the notes. Now some of the kids on number 1 decided not to draw the treble clef when they turned in their work, and that's not okay. You've got to draw in your treble clef. That's why we spend all that time learning those. Do you remember how we did it? We made that solid line above and below the staff, okay? Then we curled our sail through the D line. We came around the G, which was the second line, and then we added our curl at the bottom if we wanted to make it fancy. So you have to add your treble clef. And now it says name the notes. Well, we're in treble clef, okay? We've learned these already. If you're not sure about the note, look, they're giving it to you right here, the whole staff. They're showing you this note right here. That's the bass clef low C. But if I look up here on the treble clef, I can find that matching note right there. It's a C. Do you see it's the same note? Right there. And it's the same note right here. So this is a C. And as I'm looking up my staff, I'm going all the way up to the first ledger line and the space above it. So I'm going to look up my scale. First ledger line, space above it is, did you say B? I hope you said B. That's the right answer. Okay, and so remember I'm writing clearly so Miss G can see my work. If it's not clear, I can't correct it for you. It has to be dark enough for me to see it, so make sure you're drawing your letters dark, okay? So I'm just going through. Oh, that one's below the staff. First ledger line, and I'm noticing something. This one was the ledger line and this one's below it. So I'm going backwards. Here's my C. What comes before that in the alphabet? B. Hey, this one's also a B. Okay, and they are 2 octaves apart. If I were to count up from this low B all the way to this high B, I'd count to 8 2 times. okay? This one is above the staff. Again, I'm looking for one that's sitting on the top line, or I can figure it out. I can go good, every good boy does fine. That's an F. The next note is a G. Okay, if you said G, way to go. And so on. I'm not going to give you all the answers. Now I'm going to my next one. Number 2, draw a bass clef and name the notes. I've got to draw my bass clef. Do you remember I have to start it on my second line from the top? I'm going to make my circle because that's my F in bass clef. I'm going to bring it up and around, and then I'm going to put my 2 dots on either side of my lines. That's going to make my bass clef, okay? Now, automatically, if I'm thinking treble clef, I go, oh, I know that note, that's a D. Nope, that's a treble clef note. This one is way down here, okay? And so I'm looking here, it's here, the first one below the staff, and it's an F. So if you're looking up there, you can find that pitch and say, oh yeah, now I'm beginning to see it. That's an F. And how about this one? This one is the first ledger line going up the scale, and I'm noticing something. This note, first ledger line going up the scale, and this note that we already did in the treble clef, this one and this one. Okay, guess what? Same note. Same exact pitch. They are both, wait a second here. I want to just double check my work. A, B, C. And I am going, sometimes my brain, you know, I have to really think here because I don't have my piano in front of me. So hang on a minute here. G, A, B, yes, I am correct. I had to double check myself. I almost said a different letter. I almost got mixed up with treble clef. See, even music teachers have to stop and really think. These are they're brain twisters, okay? So use this to help you with these. Look up, make sure it's the one that matches. Now at the number 3, it says, write each of the indicated notes in 4 places on the staff. So it's giving you the note. It already put the grand staff brace and line in. Both of your treble and bass clef are there. They named the note C. I had to put a C here, okay, because there's one here. All right. And I only have to do it in 4 places. So I could do one here. I could do one here. I could do one here. I could do this one, which is what they did. Hey, could I have done this one? You betcha. Okay? So there's lots of options. I get to do it in 4 places. So I'm going to find 4 Ds to do. I'm going to do that nice low D with the first ledger line in the bass clef because I like to write it. It's a fun one. See it down there? There's my D. Then I'm going to put in my next D. I'm going to put it around the 3rd line in the bass clef. I'm using my half moons to make my notes. See how they come out so nice? Can I read them? Can you read them? Are they around the line or in the space? Yes, indeedy. I'm going to do a D below the staff in the treble clef on the first space below, because that one is the same as that D. You can see it there. So far I've used this one. Then I decided to use this one. Now I'm using this one. And I'm going to use one more. I'm just going to go up to the next octave and use this one. It's the 4th line of the treble clef, right? Every good boy deserves. Elvis's guitar broke down. It's my D. Ba-dung! I've got 4. Yep. That's what I'm doing. Easy peasy. Okay? I'm going to go on to the next one. This is your review. And they're asking lots of questions, which I may not tell you the answers to, because this is one where I say, okay, were you paying attention to the other 4 lessons that I did for you? Okay? How many lines are there on a single staff? Well, I get my hand staff out and I count. Huh. Ding, 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 ding. I should be able to say that number. Okay. How many spaces are on the single staff? I'm on number 2. How many spaces are between the lines? That should be easy peasy, right? Number 3. Is the 5th line at the bottom or the top of the staff? The 5th line. So if we're counting up the staff, do we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Is 5 at the bottom or the top? Well, is it facing the ground or the ceiling? We talked about that. So line 5 is facing the, so it's at the of the staff, not the of the staff. Did you get that right? And how about which clef is also known as the G clef? Do you remember which one you have to draw to have the G go around its center? Is it a treble or a bass clef? Which one curls around the G line? Which one curls around the F? The next one, the note names, this is number 5, the note names of the 5 lines in the treble clef from the bottom to the top. Okay, we should get this right. Elephants go backwards doing flips. Elvis's guitar broke down Friday. Every good boy deserves fudge. Every good boy does fine. Every one of those poems starts with the letter that they're asking you to name, starting with E for every, right? And they name the 5 pitches, or the 5 notes. Then it says, the note names of the 4 spaces in the treble clef from the bottom to the top are. Now, the space notes, guys, always rhyme with the word space. You can see mine right here. And number 7, the line through middle C is called a what line? Remember that line that we were using just on our last lesson? Do you remember they look like this? This is the C, middle C is here. Okay? Middle C is also here. Boom. Did I already point to that one? Oh no, that's treble clef A. Sorry about that. Here's C. And I was looking for a bass clef one and they don't have one on the page. But that one is middle C and it has this line through it. What's that line called? A line. Number 8. Which clef is also known as the F clef? We were just talking about that. One of them curls around G. One of them starts with the dot on the F. Is it the bass clef or the treble? And remember, bass is not spelled like baseball. It's spelled B-A-S-S. Treble is not spelled like trouble. It's treble, not trouble. If you don't remember treble, you might get into trouble. It's spelled T-R-E-B-L-E. Treble is T-R-O-U-B-L-E. Okay? The note names of the 5 lines in the bass clef from the bottom to the top. Okay, we're talking bass clef now. Do you remember they shift down one? So our second note in the treble clef was G, elephants go. Now our first note in bass clef is G. Do you remember? Good boys do fine always, right? So you can name those letter names for bass clef. And the note names of the spaces in the bass clef. This is my favorite one, okay? In between your lines for your bass clef, you have all cars eat gas. And boy, do they ever. Hope you get a good job. You're going to need it to pay for your gasoline. All right. Number 11, guys. It says, write the letter names of the notes. Watch out. They're changing rapidly from bass to treble clef. D. Okay, we know it's the D. And guys, it's okay if you have to go back to the page before and look. That D is the same as this D right here. Is it okay to go back and look? Absolutely. Okay, the next note we're looking at, good boys do fine always, A, B, I might have to look back to know that's my C. I knew that was where that C was hiding out. Remember I said ledger line C? There it is. I knew it was there. Ledger line C. Okay? So we're just naming those pitches. If you have to go back to the page before, please do. But be careful. Watch out. Know if it's bass clef or know if it's treble clef. Number 12, write the letter names of the notes. Oh, they're giving you a whole section of bass and then a whole section of treble. Number 13, draw the grand staff. Now this is where a lot of kids went, okay, I'll just put a little thing here. And hey guys, there's lots to do to draw the grand staff. You got to put in your brace. You got to connect it with the bar. You got to put in your treble clef. You got to put in your bass clef. And then it says, and then name the notes. So this will be treble on top. This will be bass on the bottom. Number 14, spell the words to complete the sentences below. So it's kind of a little story. It's kind of fun. We're looking to make sure we know if it's bass or treble clef. So these are treble clef notes A, B, and E. So the story is about a boy, and his name is A-B-E. So it says Abe took his lunch, and it's something with 3 letters that starts with a bass clef B. Took his lunch, and went downtown in a treble clef, starts with C, and that's the word. And, went downtown in a blank to something, the pigeons in the park. And the pigeons, bass clef, I almost couldn't see this up here, bass clef starts with an F. What is that word? Write it here. And while eating his some kind of a sandwich, a something flew by and barely missed his, oh look, they go in order. Treble clef spaces, barely missed his bass. Okay, and so this is now bass clef, starts with A, decided to go home. All right, that's your packet for the first 5 and your review. Next one we'll start with lesson 6. All right, enjoy your day, you guys. I hope you're safe and well. Miss G's really thinking about you and missing you. Wish we were singing. And hopefully you are. You've got singing tracks to sing along with every day. All right, talk to you soon. Bye, guys.